It's now been a week since Israel declared war on Hamas after an unprecedented ground, air and sea assault by the Hamas militants over the weekend on Israel. Now, the death toll continues to mount on both sides. Over 1,300 Israelis and over 1,500 Palestinians have lost their lives so far. The humanitarian crisis is mounting too, and countries have now swung into diplomatic action to avoid a spillover here. Now, in the latest, Israel's military chief has said that now is the time for war. Israel has called for the relocation of 1.1 million Palestinians in Gaza to the enclave's south, and they have to relocate within the next 24 hours. Palestinians fear it could be a precursor to a planned Israeli ground offensive following a deadly Hamas militant attack. UN has urged Israel to call off the Gaza evacuation order, while US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has arrived in Jordan after his Israel visit. He will meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Jordan's King Abdullah in Amman. His visit aims to engage regional partners on efforts to help prevent the conflict from spreading further. He is also expected to visit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE and Egypt. Now, during his Israel visit, Blinken met Prime Minister Netanyahu. He vowed a robust support for Israel as he said the country will never fight alone, as US will always be by its side. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister showed Blinken the horrific images of infant victims who were murdered and burned by Hamas. Those images have been shared by Netanyahu on his social media account on platform X. Now, WION is consciously choosing not to show those images on air. As the West ramps up its diplomatic efforts in the region, Iran has called on Islamic and Arab countries to form a united front against Israel. Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi accused Israel of a genocide. Tehran has also reportedly offered to host an emergency meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister has warned that if Israel's bombardment of Gaza continues, the war may open on other fronts, which is seen as an apparent reference to the Lebanese group Hezbollah. Israeli parliament has approved Prime Minister Netanyahu's emergency unity government in a 66-4 vote. Opposition members have also joined this government to take on Hamas. Formation of the new government underlines the suspension of normal political rules during one of the most serious crises in Israel's history. Former Prime Minister Yair Lapid, who is the leader of the largest opposition party in parliament, has refused to join the government. Human Rights Watch accuses Israel of using white phosphorus munitions in its military operations in Gaza and Lebanon. Now, the use of such weapons, white phosphorus, it puts civilians at risk of serious and long-term injury. Israel continues to pound Gaza Strip with airstrikes. Nearly 6,000 bombs have been directed towards the Gaza Strip. Now, the country has tightened its siege of Gaza, which saw another night without electricity. Israel has blocked supply of fuel as well as food to Gaza. Red Cross says Gaza hospitals risk turning into morgues now. Israel says the siege will remain in place until Hamas releases some 150 hostages that they took after the assault on Saturday in Israel. Now, the Israeli army has said that it has bombarded the Gaza Strip with approximately 6,000 bombs, as I mentioned earlier, and it contained nearly 4,000 tons of explosives since Saturday, when it began the strikes. Meanwhile, Israel's kibbutz Holit has suffered severe damages as it was attacked by Hamas militants over the weekend. Amid the raging war, many countries have also ramped up efforts to rescue their citizens from Israel. India's first charter flight under Operation Ajay, carrying 212 citizens from war-torn Israel, landed in New Delhi this morning. More than 200 Nepali nationals as well have been evacuated from Israel, and they have also returned home. A flight with 377 French nationals was moved from Israel, and it landed in Paris.